Illinois Real Estate Exam Antitrust Questions. Question 1. An unlicensed assistant named Reese is asked to explain offer terms to a buyer at an open house. Why is that risky during Casey's Evanston rental duplex file review? Option A. Explaining or negotiating transaction terms can cross into licensed activity. Option B. Unlicensed assistants may perform every brokerage task if unpaid. Option C. Only title companies need real estate licenses. Option D. Licensed supervision converts negotiation into clerical work. The correct answer is option A. Explaining or negotiating transaction terms can cross into licensed activity. Unlicensed assistants may perform clerical or administrative tasks, but explaining terms, negotiating, or advising consumers may require a license. Being unpaid, supervised, or involved with a title company does not transform licensed brokerage functions into purely clerical work. Question 2. Jamie signs closing documents for an absent seller under a power of attorney. Which issue is most important during Morgan's Oak Park Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. A power of attorney automatically makes the signer the owner. Option B. The authority must be valid and broad enough for the act being performed. Option C. No written authority is ever needed. Option D. The broker may create authority by verbal approval alone. The correct answer is option B. The authority must be valid and broad enough for the act being performed. A power of attorney gives authority only if it is valid and covers the act being performed. It does not transfer ownership to the signer by itself, and verbal approval alone is not a safe substitute for proper written authority. Question 3. A seller receives $364,000 at closing, pays off a $76,000 mortgage, and pays $7,700 in seller closing costs. What are the approximate net proceeds during Taylor's Decatur Suburban Ranch Home File Review? Option A. $288,000. Option B. $356,300. Option C. $280,300. Option D. $83,700. The correct answer is option C. $280,300. Seller net proceeds subtract the loan payoff and seller costs from the sale price, $364,000 minus $76,000 minus $7,700 equals $280,300. The other answers omit one deduction or add deductions instead of subtracting them from the sale price. Stressed about your Illinois real estate exam? We can take Illinois real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. Morgan signs an exclusive brokerage agreement and expects the broker to present offers and assist with negotiations. Which Illinois topic does this resemble during Riley's Elgin Commercial Suite file review? Option A. A deed restriction created by neighbors. Option B. A mortgage acceleration clause. Option C. A tax appeal before the assessor. Option D. A minimum services and duties under brokerage agreements. The correct answer is option D. Minimum services and duties under brokerage agreements. Illinois state minus specific outlines test brokerage agreements, exclusive agreements, and minimum services. Deed restrictions, mortgage acceleration, and tax appeals involve different legal concepts rather than brokerage minus service duties. Question 5. A buyer and seller dispute whether a built minus in dishwasher stays with the property. Which test is most relevant during Avery's normal farm parcel file review? Option A. Whether the item has become a fixture based on attachment, adaptation, agreement, and intent. Option B. Whether the buyer likes the item. Option C. Whether the item is expensive enough. Option D. Whether the broker wants it included. The correct answer is option A. Whether the item has become a fixture based on attachment, adaptation, agreement, and intent. Fixture analysis looks at factors such as attachment, adaptation, agreement, and intent. Personal preference, price alone, or the broker's preference does not determine whether the item stays with the real estate. Question 6. A small rental property has annual net operating income of $37,000 and an indicated capitalization rate of 8%. What value is suggested by the income approach during Cameron's Carbondale single-family home file review? Option A, $296,000. Option B, $462,500. Option C, $4,625. Option D, $231,250. The correct answer is option B, $462,500. The income approach using direct capitalization divides NOI by the capitalization rate. $37,000 divided by 8% equals about $462,500. The other answers multiply by the rate, treat the percent as a whole number, or cut the indicated value in half. Question 7. A managing broker supervising Cameron discovers repeated advertising and trust-account mistakes. Which responsibility is most directly involved during Drew's Galesburg 2-flat building file review? Option A, recording deeds for every buyer. Option B, issuing building permits. Option C, supervision of sponsored licensees and brokerage compliance systems. Option D, approving zoning variances. The correct answer is option C, supervision of sponsored licensees and brokerage compliance systems. Managing and sponsoring brokers are responsible for supervision, training, and compliance controls for sponsored licensees. Recording deeds, issuing permits, and approving zoning variances are handled by other parties or government offices. Question 8. A buyer reviews debits, credits, lender charges, preparations, and cash needed to close. Which document function is being tested during Hayden's Moline condominium unit file review? Option A, a zoning map amendment. Option B, a subdivision plat approval. Option C, a deed covenant creating a life estate. Option D, settlement or closing statement accounting. The correct answer is option D, settlement or closing statement accounting. Closing statements organize transaction charges, credits, preparations, and cash to close. Zoning approvals, plats, and deed covenants do not perform the same accounting function.
Are you looking for AccuPlacer exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access AccuPlacer exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get AccuPlacer exam answer key today.
Question 9. A property is worth $331,000 and has a loan balance of $117,000. Approximately how much equity does the owner have during Parker's Quincy townhome file review? Option A, $214,000. Option B, $448,000. Option C, $117,000. Option D, $264,800. The correct answer is option A, $214,000. Equity is the property's value minus debt secured by the property, so $331,000 minus $117,000 equals $214,000. The distractors add debt, report the loan balance, or use an unsupported percentage of value. Question 10. A brokerage wants to operate a virtual office location for Illinois consumers. Which compliance focus best fits the licensing outline during Reese's Waukegan small apartment building file review? Option A, avoiding all broker supervision because the office is online. Option B, registration, supervision, and public-facing brokerage compliance for virtual or branch operations. Option C, replacing written brokerage agreements with website clicks only. Option D, advertising as an unlicensed technology company. The correct answer is option B, registration, supervision, and public-facing brokerage compliance for virtual or branch operations. Virtual or branch operations still require appropriate brokerage supervision and compliance with licensing rules. Being online does not remove supervision, written-agreement, licensing, or advertising requirements. Question 11. A consumer asks why a state real estate recovery fund might exist. Which purpose is closest during Alex's Belleville mixed-use storefront file review? Option A, guaranteeing every buyer a profit on resale. Option B, paying all ordinary home repairs after closing. Option C, providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Option D, replacing the need for broker licensing. The correct answer is option C, providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Recovery funds are designed as limited consumer minus protection remedies for qualifying misconduct minus related losses. They do not guarantee investment profit, pay routine repairs, or replace licensing and discipline systems. Question 12. A buyer purchases for $185,000, makes a 15% down payment, and has $3,600 in closing costs. About how much cash is needed at closing before credits during Blair's Chicago vacant lot file review? Option A, $27,750. Option B, $3,600. Option C, $181,400. Option D, $31,350. The correct answer is option D, $31,350. Cash needed combines the down payment and closing costs, 15% of $185,000 plus $3,600 equals $31,350. The other choices omit either the costs or the down payment, or subtract costs from the price incorrectly. Question 13. A licensee knowingly misrepresents a material fact to induce a buyer to sign. Which licensing consequence is most relevant during Quinn's Springfield rental duplex file review? Option A, disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Option B, automatic zoning approval. Option C, a mandatory title insurance payout. Option D, a tax prioration credit only. The correct answer is option A, disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Knowing misrepresentation can trigger discipline because it harms consumers and violates professional standards. Zoning approval, title insurance payout, and tax prioration are unrelated remedies for this licensing misconduct. Question 14. A buyer pays for the right, but not the obligation, to purchase a property at a set price during a stated period. Which agreement is described during Sydney's Peoria Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A, open listing only. Option B, option agreement. Option C, tax deed. Option D, subordination agreement. The correct answer is option B, option agreement. An option gives the holder the right to buy under stated terms without requiring the holder to exercise it. An open listing is a brokerage agreement, a tax deed relates to tax enforcement, and subordination changes lien priority. Question 15. A rental property has NOI of $27,000 and a value estimate of $330,000. Approximately what capitalization rate is indicated during Logan's Naperville Suburban Ranch Home File Review? Option A, 4.1%. Option B, 11.2%. Option C, 8.2%. Option D, 12.2%. The correct answer is option C, 8.2%. The capitalization rate is NOI divided by value, so $27,000 divided by $330,000 is about 8.2%. The other answers have the rate, add unsupported points, or invert the formula. Question 16. A candidate is planning the broker exam schedule and wants to understand the Illinois minus specific portion. How is the state portion commonly structured in the current SCI bulletin during Kendall's Rockford Commercial Suite file review? Option A, 100 questions with 150 minutes allowed and a 70% passing score. Option B, 50 questions with 120 minutes allowed and a 74% passing score. Option C, 90 questions with 150 minutes allowed and a 75% passing score. Option D, 40 questions with 90 minutes allowed and a 75% passing score. The correct answer is option D, 40 questions with 90 minutes allowed and a 75% passing score. The Illinois broker exam has a separate state portion listed as 40 scored points, 90 minutes, and a 75% passing score. The 100 minus question 150 minus minute format describes the national broker portion, The 50-question-120- option reflects residential leasing, and the 90- format applies to a different examination category. Question 17. An ad states only a very low monthly payment without giving required credit terms or context. Which lending-advertising law is often implicated during Harper's Bloomington Farm parcel file review? Option A, Truth in Lending Act and Regulation Z. Option B, Rule Against Perpetuities. Option C, Fair Credit Reporting Act only. Option D, Illinois Plat Act only. The correct answer is option A, Truth in Lending Act and Regulation Z. Regulation Z under the Truth in Lending Act governs many consumer credit advertising disclosures. The Rule Against Perpetuities and Plat laws do not govern loan advertising, and the FCRA focuses on consumer reports rather than payment-ed trigger terms. Question 18. Avery passed the Illinois broker examination but delayed the license application for more than a year. What is the likely exam-related consequence during Jamie's Champagne single-family home file review? Option A. The score remains valid permanently. Option B. The passing examination result may no longer be usable for licensure. Option C. The candidate becomes licensed automatically. Option D. Only a name-change form is required. The correct answer is option B. The passing examination result may no longer be usable for licensure. The SI Bulletin states that candidates must apply for licensure within 1 year after passing the appropriate examination. A permanent score, automatic licensure, or a simple name-change form would not satisfy the application requirement after the score validity window has passed. Stressed about your Illinois real estate exam? We can take Illinois real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A seller receives an offer of $275,000 and responds with $278,000 plus a changed closing date. How should the seller's response be classified during Rowan's Joliet 2-flat building file review? Option A. A full acceptance of the buyer's original offer. Option B. A deed transferring title immediately. Option C. A counteroffer that rejects the original offer and proposes new terms. Option D. A lease option created by operation of law. The correct answer is option C. A counteroffer that rejects the original offer and proposes new terms. Changing material terms such as price or closing date creates a counteroffer rather than an acceptance. It does not transfer title, and it does not create a lease option unless the parties separately agree to those terms. Question 20. An owner personally advertises and negotiates the sale of the owner's own small apartment building. Why is this usually treated differently from brokerage for others during Jordan's Aurora condominium unit file review? Option A. Every owner must hold a broker license before signing a deed. Option B. The owner is automatically sponsored by the buyer's broker. Option C. The owner may collect commissions from other sellers without a license. Option D. Owners may generally sell or lease their own property without acting as licensed brokers for the public. The correct answer is option D. Owners may generally sell or lease their own property without acting as licensed brokers for the public. Real estate license laws typically regulate brokerage services performed for others, especially for compensation. An owner selling the owner's own property is not thereby representing the public as a broker, while licensing would be required to collect commissions or broker transactions for other owners. Question 21. Several liens are discovered before closing, including a recorded mortgage, unpaid property taxes, and a later judgment lien. Why is lien priority important during Casey's Evanston townhome file review? Option A. Priority determines the order in which claims may be paid from the property's value. Option B. Priority decides who may advertise the property. Option C. Priority cancels the need for title insurance. Option D. Priority makes every lien disappear at listing. The correct answer is option A. Priority determines the order in which claims may be paid from the property's value. Lien priority affects the order of payment when property is sold or foreclosed. It does not control advertising rights, eliminate title insurance analysis, or erase liens merely because a property is listed. Question 22. Morgan posts a social media ad for a listing near Quincy using only a personal phone number and no brokerage identification. Which issue is most likely raised by Illinois advertising rules during Morgan's Oak Park small apartment building file review? Option A. A licensee may advertise without any broker identification online. Option B. Real estate advertising must identify the sponsoring brokerage in a compliant and not misleading way. Option C. Only print advertising must identify a broker. Option D. Brokerage identification is unnecessary if the property address appears. The correct answer is option B. Real estate advertising must identify the sponsoring brokerage in a compliant and not misleading way. Illinois advertising expectations focus on protecting the public from misleading ads and making the sponsoring brokerage clear. Online ads are still advertising, and the property address or a personal phone number does not replace proper broker identification. Question 23. A landlord refuses to consider an applicant because of disability. What fair housing concept is most directly involved during Taylor's Decatur mixed-use storefront file review? Option A. A lawful appraisal adjustment. Option B. A title-priority decision. Option C. Discrimination based on a protected class in housing transactions. Option D. A contract contingency automatically required by lenders. The correct answer is option C. Discrimination based on a protected class in housing transactions. Fair housing laws prohibit discrimination in housing based on protected classes. The situation is not an appraisal adjustment, title priority issue, or lender-required contract contingency. Question 24. A listing broker learns of a recurring basement water problem before a buyer submits an offer. How should the issue generally be treated in an Illinois exam scenario during Riley's Elgin vacant lot file review? Option A. It may be hidden if the seller requests silence. Option B. It is never relevant once the property is listed as -is. Option C. It must be disclosed only after the buyer obtains a loan. Option D. A known material fact should be disclosed rather than concealed. The correct answer is option D. A known material fact should be disclosed rather than concealed. Known material facts can affect a buyer's decision and should not be concealed. A seller's request, and as -is label, or the timing of financing does not eliminate the broker's duty to avoid misrepresentation and disclose material information. Question 25. Two firms agree that one will serve buyers only in Springfield while the other will avoid that area and focus on Peoria. Which antitrust concept best fits during Avery's normal rental duplex file review? Option A. A market allocation. Option B. Valid escalation clause. Option C. A leasehold estate. Option D. Statutory redemption period. The correct answer is option A. Market allocation. Competitors who divide territories or customers can create an unlawful market allocation scheme. Escalation clauses are contract tools, leasehold estates are possessory interests, and redemption periods relate to foreclosure law.